Well, of course, made the point in a previous interview, welcome back, by the way, that there are many, many role players who have many, many strong views on what should happen in the coalition negotiations. That's how some people see these elections. Matthew Parks is the spokesperson now for the Congress of South African Trade Unions. Matthew, good afternoon. As Cosatu, you support the ANC. You must be very disappointed. The ANC has fallen to 40% in this election.
Hi, no, afternoon. Thanks for having us. No, of course, we are disappointed. We had hoped for a 51% outright majority for the ANC, but we do appreciate we're 3 decades into democracy. It's natural for any party which has been ruling for so long to lose some support, to fragment. And of course, we've had to overcome serious challenges as the alliance, as the ANC, as the nation. But we are heartened nonetheless that the ANC has emerged as the leading national political party across the country. At 41% is double the size of the next biggest party. It's a majority party in 7 out of 9 provinces, and of course the other 2, we struggle significantly. But nonetheless, we do appreciate we have a very clear mandate from voters to form a government. We're very confident that the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, will be the next president. And I think for us now, it's just about the permutations of how do we constitute that government. Is it a coalition? Is it a minority government? But I think for us what's critical really is the principles and to make sure we elect and put in place a strong government that can address our many, many difficult challenges.
Before the election, if I recall the quote correctly, your president, Zingiswa Losi, said that if the ANC had to choose between the EFF and the DA, it should choose the EFF. Is that still Cosatu's view?
Yeah. So look, first, we're not getting yet into Party A or Party B or Party C. The results that come out, the results speak to mathematical equations. What can you do with this party, that party? Some parties obviously didn't make it, other parties did make it, and some surprised even themselves. I think for us what's critical is the principles as Cosatu. We must support a government which will support and protect workers' rights so they can't undermine the labor laws. We must have a government which accelerates the fight against corruption and crime, which is based upon the principles of renewing the state and society. We do believe that the position that the policy anchor of cabinet must be the ANC election manifesto. So it really must continue the transformation agenda of the last 30 years. The investment in social wages, investment in working class communities. So for us, those are the principles, and it actually must be stable. It can't be simply about a scramble for positions. It can't include people who will be found wanting in a court of law, who don't respect and honor the Constitution. So for us, those are the key principles. But in terms of the actual modalities, is it a minority government? Is it a supply and demand arrangement? Is it a coalition or a government of national unity? Those kind of integrities we will be discussing as Cosatu, with our alliance partners, the ANC and the SCCP. And we'll come to a common position, I think, in the next few days. So we do have time, but we are confident indeed we'll make sure we comply with the constitutional timeframes to elect the president in the National Assembly on the 17th of June. And we're very confident that his name would be Cyril Ramaphosa.
Matthew, you represent workers. You'll never support a deal with employers, right?
Our position is that we have very progressive labor laws, we have a progressive constitution, and we have to have a government, whoever it includes, that must be based upon respecting workers' rights, it must be based upon respecting our labor laws, and also be respecting the need to honor the Constitution, to tackle corruption, to grow the economy. Those for us are fundamentals because those have a direct impact upon workers, and we can't agree to anything that actually takes us a step backwards.
So I understand all of that, and I understand what you're asking for, and it's all entirely rational and legitimate. I just don't know if it's possible to have all of it. You want a stable government. You don't want the ANC to do a coalition deal with a party that may be against some of the labour laws. I understand. I mean, of course, that's your constituency. That's entirely correct. But then who else is left? So the EFF, which, Cosatu's had historical difficulties with Julius Malema. He doesn't respect the Constitution as it is. He wants it changed. Then there's Mkhonto we Sizwe. He doesn't want the Constitution at all. I mean, I understand what you wish for. I think that you may be in a position where you actually are going to have to make a formal choice.
Yeah. No, we will have to make a formal choice without a doubt about it, because when you go to the National Assembly on the 17th of June, it's about numbers. You must make sure you've got the numbers to ensure that your candidate, President Ramaphosa, emerges victorious at the end of the day. But we are confident we will reach that space. Yes, politics at times is messy. But I think for us, if we want to ensure a stable arrangement, whether it's a coalition, whether it's a minority government, whatever the permutations may be, it needs to be based on principles. We've seen what happens in Nelson Mandela Bay in Gauteng, where it's literally been horse trading, no principles. And as a result, there's been chaos. Mayors are chopping, changing, like people are changing socks. And the impact upon service delivery around corruption, etc., has been a disaster. So I think for us, we're keen to let's make sure we've got sound principles in place. Let's not compromise those. And we think there are enough several persons who will be in Parliament who will agree with us. We don't think we're going to struggle to do so. The ANC is not far short of a majority. And I think if we look at the permutations, there's no other way except through an ANC government. And we're very confident, whatever the modalities may be, that we will find it quite soon. It shouldn't be too difficult of a struggle.
All right, Matthew, I mean, you talk about socks. I mean, I suspect that everyone wants to wear two socks. But the ANC may have to choose between a left sock and a right sock. And I suspect that the other sock is going to get very upset when that happens. The threats to the Electoral Commission from Umkhonto we Sizwe, I think we can say there were threats, what former President Jacob Zuma said on Saturday night. Again, today, speaking outside the High Court in Johannesburg, he said that the election results were not correct, that the election had been stolen, again providing no evidence of that. I must point out that he also did tell his supporters not to use violence. How do you view what MK has been saying?
Look, it's quite worrying, and I think for us, we're quite clear as Cosatu, we defend the Constitution, the rule of law. We should not indulge any political delinquents who want to undermine that. And yes, there always are issues with the running of elections. It's a huge, huge operation where, 60 million people, I think, voted on almost a single day. And I think with all the challenges at different voting stations, they would not have had an impact on the overall result. The elections have been shown to be free and fair. The IC got an outstanding track record conducting 7 national and provincial elections, similar amount of local elections, and thousands of by-elections. So for us, the elections results are free and fair. They reflect the views of voters. This is the mandate voters are given to us. Yes, we may not all be thrilled with it. There are many parties who wish they would have made it to Parliament. But at the end of the day, this is democracy. You win some, you lose some. But I don't think we can countenance anybody who instigates violence, who threatens mayhem. And I think given our experience in July 2021, where we lost many people's lives, where billions of rands of damage was done to the economy, the police, the defense force, the state security agency must be on the ground. And anybody who misbehaves must be shown the nearest court of law, must be collected from the street. We can't rebuild society if we're going to indulge political delinquents, political vandals who want to undermine the fabric of society. We don't always get what we like. We have to compromise, but at the end of the day, South Africa belongs to all of us. We must all own our democracy. We must all accept our responsibilities. But we can't have a situation where powerful people, threaten to undermine the rule of law.
Thank you very much indeed, Matthew Parks, the spokesperson for the Congress of South African Trade Unions. Do appreciate the time.